The critics have assembled.
It's movie day!
Yes, indeed, for the dawn of Captain Marvel, to take a survey about a triple frontier, but most of all, to go on a mission with the astronauts of Apollo 11. It's a march to the moon's surface seen like never before. The Apollo 11 documentary makes you proud.
First things first. Any man here that wants to walk away can do so knowing they're the best of us. But it's gotta be now.
A star-studded Netflix movie opens in theaters. Triple Frontier is military muscle turned on the bad guys.
We do not have the flag on our shoulders.
So, Skrulls are the bad guys.
It's like a smack in the face keeping up with the beginning of Captain Marvel.
It's just the beginning.
The beginning of an adequate origin story, but I will fly with this captain. Critically speaking, now. It is the dawn of a female Marvel superhero, and I enjoyed the film, but we'll get into that in just a minute. Welcome aboard. This is Critically Speaking, a show that is all about movies. I am your host, Lee Thomas. And joining me this week, the usual suspects. Adam Graham reviews movies for the Detroit News. Tom Santilli, my man. He's a national film critic for Access.com. Gentlemen, you know how we do. We start off talking about the business of filmmaking or upcoming movies that have caught our attention. We call it simply our movie buzz. This week, Disney CEO, the man in control of the Disney empire, Bob Iger, he's giving us a glimpse of the company's future. Iger tells shareholders. He told them this week that the deal to buy Fox Entertainment, 20th Century Fox, is almost complete. He also says Disney will still make movies under the 20th Century Fox name and Fox Searchlight brands. FX will also keep its name. Iger also revealed that Disney Plus streaming service, which comes out later this year, will have Disney classic movies on it like Bambi, Aladdin, Cinderella, Dumbo. All the classics will be there. Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the opposite of Disney, and that's Netflix. This movie right here, Triple Frontier, in theaters this weekend. Really this week, opened on Wednesday. And it'll be on the streaming service next Friday. This comes on the heels of Steven Spielberg saying movies that premiere on streaming platforms should only be up for Emmys and not Oscars. So Netflix has changed. Have they found the right mix releasing films in theaters? To the critics we go. Adam, you're up first. I like what Netflix is doing. Steven Spielberg still has a problem with it. Neither one of us are Spielberg. But what do you say about what Netflix is trying to do, winning Oscars and still being a streaming service?
I think Netflix is the biggest player in movies right now, and that is the kind of it's where movies are headed. Mm-hmm. Movies are headed towards Netflix. You look at the numbers for Bird Box. More people saw Bird Box that first week than anybody. I mean, it was record-breaking numbers.
Yeah, it was.
And I think that Spielberg represents kind of old Hollywood and an old way of doing things, and he doesn't like the way that Netflix is disrupting the system. It's classic new guy on the block, changing the way things are done. And I think that Netflix should absolutely be eligible for Oscars. Yeah. They're making movies. They're making important movies.
I agree.
And I think that going forward, this year we had one Best Picture nominee that was Netflix. I think you're only going to see more and more as the years roll on. And he's trying to stop that. And I think it's a short-sighted.
It is. You know, you really got to give the people what they want. And nobody wants to wait 3 months to watch their movie at home when you're on demand. Right. I think Netflix has the right mix, and they're going to push everybody in the right direction. Where are you at on this, Tom?
I mean, I'm a traditional film guy, so I kind of understand the old way of thinking with what Spielberg is saying.
Get off my lawn, says Spielberg, right?
Yeah, but my problem is that by trying to limit what Netflix is doing by, the streaming and not having them be eligible for awards and stuff like that, it really also is limiting the independent film market, which Netflix is slowly, of course, taking over anyway. But independent films, who fight and self-fund their films just to get it on a big screen, one place. Like, is that not going to qualify now because Spielberg's rules limit, where things are being seen? So I feel like this is just the way that things are going, and you either adapt or die, man.
Yeah, he's talking about the amount of time it takes for it to go from the screen to streaming, and it should be limited. Just leave it alone, let it happen. If it's on the screen for one day, I'm cool with it.
I think what Spielberg is trying to do is preserve the theatrical experience.
Right.
The theatrical experience has diminished a lot in recent years. Phones, talking, people walking in and out of the theaters.
Yeah.
It's not what it once was. Netflix is changing things. It's like trying to stop Napster when they came into the music industry.
Right.
It's already happening.
And when's the last time Steven Spielberg actually went to a movie at the cinema?
Yeah.
He goes down to his basement or wherever, his theater room. Anyway, let's talk about the movies, gentlemen, why we are here. A new documentary simply takes us to the moon like never before. It's never before seen footage. This movie is fantastic. It actually made me proud. It's called Apollo 11. It does some very unique things on a gripping mission that we'll talk about coming up. I loved it. Plus, there's this.
Tell me about this dream.
Oh, she can fight. Oh, Captain, my Captain Marvel. Brie Larson's reign has begun in a film that I think will entertain the masses, but a lot of critics are poo-pooing this one. We'll see what the fellas think of Captain Marvel, critically speaking, next. It's the superhero turn that Brie Larson talked about. Did I do that right? Anyway, it's the biggest movie from Marvel this year so far, and she is the first female to lead this universe. And yes, I say Captain Marvel is an adequate film, but the best part of this movie happens with Fury, and it gets personal.
Oh, you want to get personal.
Where were you born?
Huntsville, Alabama, but technically I don't remember that part.
Name of your first pet.
Mr. Snoofers.
Mr. Snoofers.
That's what I said. Did I pass?
Not yet. First job?
Soldier, straight out of high school. Left the ranks of full bird colonel.
Then?
Spy.
Where?
It was the Cold War. We were everywhere. Belfast, Bucharest, Belgrade.
All right, this is Sam Jackson in the film, and this is good stuff. Sam Jackson is great in this movie. The movie is fantastic with him and Brie Larson. Those are the best parts of the film. But the beginning of the film is a little bit choppy. I want to say something about Sam Jackson as well. He is 70 years old, and I like this dude. He does action in this movie. He handles himself well. He doesn't seem like a 70-year-old. But the first 45 minutes of this film are kind of confusing, a little bit chaotic, a little bit too much. But once they get past, the film smooths out in a good way, and I think it finishes out strong, even though there's a couple of what I'll call incongruities. But on the whole, I think Captain Marvel is a decent film. I give this film a very mild thumbs up. There's underused Jaimin Hansu and underused Annette Bening, but I think Jude Law does well in the movie, and of course Brie Larson does a decent job. I give it a B- or a C+ if I have to give it a grade, but that is a mild thumbs up for me. Wonder Woman is better. Iron Man is better. Lots of movies are better. They should not have done it that way. To the critics we go. The front was a little confusing for me, but once it settled down, I think general masses of people will enjoy this film. Adam, is Captain Marvel the one that you like this weekend?
I'm going to go thumbs up on the character of Captain Marvel and Brie Larson's performance. I'm going to go thumbs down on the movie overall because I think, like you said, it's very convoluted. I didn't know what was going on in large parts in this movie. I'm not a comic book guy, and there was so much homework that you have to do to understand what's going on that I couldn't tell you the plot if you gave me 2 minutes right now.
Right.
Because there's this planet Kree, there's the planet Halo where she's really from, but she's really from Earth. And they go to C-53. I don't understand why it was 1995. Was it 1995 in space as well? You got Annette Bening against like green screens looking at beaches kind of wistfully.
You're confusing me right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't understand what was going on. It was a lot to handle, and I think it was way too complicated. And of course they're chasing like a glowing blue thingy. What is that?
Dude, that's the Tesseract. I at least knew that part.
There was too much to take in. But I do like Brie Larson. I think that she had swagger in this movie. I think that she walked cool. I think that she was commanding in the role.
Yeah.
And I like that she kicked some butt. So I'm thumbs up on her, and there were some great images of her that I think will last, and I think that will like ultimately sell action figures for this figure or for this character, make her important. But this is all just to put her in the next Avengers movie.
Right.
And I think this is way too much backstory. We didn't need it. So I'm thumbs down on the movie, but I think there's good parts in it.
All right, let's go to our comic book guy then, because someone told me there was a lot. If you watch the S.H.I.E.L.D., what's the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that there was a lot in this movie that you could pick. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But maybe they did. Where are you at on this one? Captain Marvel, good for you, Tom?
No, I was very, very disappointed in this movie. This is a thumbs down. Look, with the exception of Black Panther, I think all of the movies that haven't been Avengers movies in the Marvel comics or in the Marvel Cinematic Universe have just not been that good in several years.
But was it adequate? It wasn't great, but was it adequate?
But here's the deal: this Marvel formula, this is to a T the Marvel formula. They just put there's a superhero, there's a villain, there's a cosmic problem. They sprinkle in a couple jokes here and there. It's almost like they're just taking the same exact cookie cutter and putting it onto a new film.
But fans like it. This is number 21.
Even to the same point, though, they couldn't even like Black Panther, where they created like a new world and new characters. This one had so little creativity that they were pulling these characters, like you mentioned, Djimon Hounsou and the bad guy in this movie that appears.
Lee Pace.
Yeah, Lee Pace. All these are from Guardians of the Galaxy, so like it didn't even have its own original things. I think Sam Jackson, look, everybody loves Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson was great.
I thought, though, they digitally made him look younger in this film, and I thought it was a little bit distracting. And I also thought that his character in this film doesn't really fit what we've seen of Nick Fury. And I know that he's younger here, but it's kind of like his whole personality is just kind of like he's in some kind of screwball comedy. Like, I don't even know what he was doing.
He loves cats a little too much.
Yeah, so everything here was just kind of uneven. It was kind of a mess. Is my review going to change people from going to see this? Absolutely not.
Right.
People are going to go see Captain Marvel. But yeah, like Adam said, you could have done away with this entire film and just had Captain Marvel show up in the new Avengers Endgame in April, and everything would have been fine and nobody would have said anything.
I think people will go. I think they'll be entertained. I think they'll also see the incongruities that I'm talking about. But I agree. I like you, Feather, your commentary, but I still give it a mild thumbs up. I was entertained.
None of us mentioned Ben Mendelsohn. He's really good in this.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really good in it.
Okay, you mean that?
I absolutely mean
Oh,
it.
good.
Why
okay.
hasn't he called Captain Marvel before this?
Good. All right. We'll leave it at that. And I do want to say there are 2 scenes in the end credits. Stay for the first one. Don't stay for the one at the end of the credits. It's not worth it. Now to the next movie. It's a story of man's first walk on the moon, told with never-before-seen footage and brand new audio recordings that are synced together. The new documentary, Apollo 11, puts you in the moment like never before.
I'd like to know what you feel as far as the responsibilities of representing mankind on this trip.
That's relatively difficult to answer. It's a job that we collectively said that was possible and we could do. And of course,
the voice of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin as they prepare to blast off into space. This footage and the access to the footage is just amazing. There is no narration in the film. They use real audio from NASA along with this 70mm footage that was found to make this movie. The moon stuff is almost magical. I love the film. The filmmaker found this unreleased 70mm footage. He matched it with 16mm footage and other footage along with still photographs. This movie is well done. I loved it. I don't even need to say more. It's 2 thumbs up for me. If you love space, you'll love it. If you don't love space, you'll still enjoy it. To the critics we go. Tom, you're up first. I was just with my mouth open on this movie the whole ride. They put it together well. It made a good story. I felt proud as an American watching this movie. Did you like Apollo 11, Tom?
I am totally in agreement with you. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. It's a big thumbs up. And I think that, in and of itself, just the moon landing itself is such an amazing thing. But I felt like this is 50 years ago now.
Yeah.
As much as people know about the moon landing, I've never ever felt like I was on the moon with these astronauts, the way that this movie kind of makes you experience it for the first time.
Right.
But what was even more impressive is how all of this was synced together, the audio with the video, because you got to know that this was all stuff that was just randomly out there that this filmmaker kind of put together and made this cohesive story that is very important. I also want to mention that I really liked what this did, not only for what we could do in space, but I really picked up on what it was showing, what we can do down on Earth.
Yes.
There were
Yes.
shots of people, you know, all different colors and
all
creeds.
creeds together. I agree
Yeah,
with you.
we
That
were all
was
human.
really touching, and everybody was sharing that moment
Yep.
as an American together. And that, like you said, that was 1969. Adam, you saw this one as well. You up?
Yeah, I'm way up on this movie. I love this movie. Like you said earlier, Lee, you were inspired by this movie. I think that watching this movie and seeing what we did back then with what we had then is absolutely astonishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it almost made me depressed for what we're doing today.
Right.
You've got these rooms full of rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of men in like short sleeve white shirts who just kind of like did the math and figured out how to do this.
Yeah, it was great, man.
It's amazing. They figured out the boom and the sonic boom and the
Yeah, they did.
and to send it around the moon. It's amazing, the
Yeah.
brain power. And now it's like, what are we doing except like liking photos of Selena Gomez on Instagram? I mean,
Wait,
like,
man. Selena
we-
Gomez is cute.
but we have computers in our pockets right now
right.
that are as powerful as what they use. And we don't. What are we doing?
Let's just stay in the thumbs up for the movie now.
Yeah, no, huge thumbs up for
All
the
right,
movie.
all right,
Thumbs
good.
down
Thumbs
for
down on modern
humanity.
technology.
Yeah, no, just stay in the thumbs up for the movie. That's where we're going to stay. Thanks, gentlemen. What
are we doing?
That one. Also out this weekend, an old-fashioned Western with a twist. It's simply called The Kid.
When they start writing about you, it means you're already
Ethan
dead.
Hawke and Dane DeHaan, they star in this Vincent D'Onofrio directed film. He's also in it as well. About these two kids who get caught in the crossfire of Billy the Kid and the man that brings him in, Pat Garrett. The Kid is the name of the movie. It's rated R and in select theaters now. When we return, Ben Affleck in an all-star cast go to Triple Frontier on our Movie Watch next. Well, we're going on a mission on our Movie Watch, which is how many times did I look at my watch during your movie. And this week, it's Triple Frontier.
First things first. Any man here that wants to walk away can do so knowing they're the best of us. But it's gotta be now.
There is no ground support.
Make no mistake, this is not a military operation, even though they're military men. It's Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaac, Charlie Hunnam, Garrett Hudlin, and Pedro Pascal. They attempt to rob one of the world's most violent cartels in Triple Frontier. This is a well-done film about former soldiers committing a crime and dealing with the fallout of their choice. Triple Frontier is literally referring to the border of Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil. The film is well worth seeing on the big screen, even though it's on Netflix next Friday. I looked at my watch twice. This is a thumbs up from me. I enjoyed Triple Frontier. If you ask me, that is the best movie out in theaters this weekend. To the critics we go. Adam, did you like the Triple Frontier?
I did. Can I go 3 thumbs up on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. It's a smart thriller. It's got a conscience. I didn't look at my watch on this one. I really liked the cast.
Yep.
I really liked the how they get in above their heads and they got to fight their way out. It's a movie where like the actual weight of the loot that they steal becomes like a metaphorical thing as well. They get brought down by the weight of what they're trying to do. But really good cast.
Nice.
And it was a surprise because I think we're still at a point where certain expectations, perhaps lowered expectations, come with Netflix films.
I know, and that's unfortunate. It was a surprise to me too. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that was a good Netflix film.
Yeah,
Let's jump over here to Tom real quick because
absolutely worth it.
Hey, Tom, are you up on this one as well? And did you look at your watch?
I didn't look at my watch at all. I'm super up on it, and I thought that this movie was fantastic. In fact, I mean, I talked, you guys know I love Alita Battle Angel. That movie was my favorite movie of the year so far, but this is probably my number 2 movie. I thought that this cast was great. I loved how this movie kind of plays on your expectations of like the heist genre. It goes in direct, every time you think you know where it's going, it kind of goes in the opposite direction. Like they're hunting a drug lord, and then they're like, all of a sudden they're like, wow, that usually doesn't happen in a movie.
Right.
And then it kind of goes this way, and I just was in it the whole way. There's very subtle things in there about like how veterans are treated. Like this whole
I agree.
thing kind of starts because our veterans are unhappy and they're not making good money and whatever else their problems are. But there's all kinds of things in this movie that are kind of underneath the surface, but on the surface, it's a great action movie, character-driven action movie.
Yep. All right, gentlemen, we all agree on that one. That's a good one, and it's well worth seeing on the big screen. I just think it is. All right, let's go to another movie that's opening this weekend that takes its music back to its roots in the documentary Atubaincuba. New Orleans famed Preservation Hall Jazz Band goes to their musical roots, the birthplace of New Orleans jazz. Atubaincuba is playing exclusively at Cinema Detroit. When we come back, we will crown our kings of the box office, and for me, it's a local guy done good. Now straight to our king of the box office, the person, place, or thing we think you should pay attention to at the theater this weekend. And for me, it's J.K. Simmons in this movie right here, I Am Not Here. Simmons plays a man dealing with his troubled past, searching for redemption. It's a tough movie. His performance is riveting. Detroit's own, Grosse Pointe's own, Oscar winner J.K. Simmons, powerful performance, very tough movie, but you are my king of the box office. To the critics we go. Adam, you're up first this week. Who is your king of the box office?
My king of the box office is Charlie Hunnam in Triple Frontier. Charlie Hunnam is crazy. Like, he only does movies that will push himself to the limit physically.
Right.
Like, he did The Lost City of Z, and he was crazy in it. He did Papillon last year, and he was like, it's like, how much physical exertion can you withstand on screen? And he's back at it again in this movie.
Nice.
I think he pushes himself further than any other actor in Hollywood right now, and for that reason, he's my king of the box office.
Good call. Tom, who's your king?
I'm going to go with the same movie, but I'm going to go with Pedro Pascal, who also is in Triple Frontier. He's my king. Look, he's in an ensemble with guys like Ben Affleck, Charlie Hunnam, Garrett Hedlund, and Oscar Isaac, and this guy completely holds his own as part of that group.
He does.
He's also, people might recognize him as Oberon Tyrell from Game of Thrones. He's also in the upcoming Wonder Woman sequel, so this guy is going to be landing big pretty soon, but Pedro, he's my king.
All right, gentlemen, you are my kings of Critically Speaking. I appreciate your time, and to you, thank you for watching. As long as they keep making movies, we'll keep critically speaking about those films. Next week, we head to Wonder Park, and I will see you at the theater.